Welcome to Driven AF Recovery. It's our Monday night. I got Steven, Maddie, our guest John, who will introduce himself here in a second. We're going to talk about the standards we hold ourselves to in our recovery versus before, and at least in my case, even before I was an addict, but definitely when I was an addict. And I think it's a topic that anybody could use. I mean, holding ourselves to high standards typically is going to get us where we want to go. Holding ourselves to lower standards or no standards, you're stuck. So, that introduction being said, John, tell us about yourself.
My name's John. I'm 36, going on 37. I've been sober since 12/1 of 2019. Came through ECS.
With me?
Holy shit,
With
you guys
you.
were together the first time.
Yeah, the first time I was here. John's the only time, my first time.
Right. Well, I had that little time that I came back due to a mental
Oh, yeah.
break,
I remember
but
that.
caught myself
Right.
before I got high.
Right.
Yeah.
But you've been sober since the first time we were in treatment together.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Killing it.
But I was invited to come out tonight to share on this topic that I feel really passionately about. It's something that has stuck with me since I actually left ECS, because it was one thing that they taught us here that really meant more to me than anything I've ever learned with a lot of other programs I've been in. Although some of the programs have taught those in that way, I needed to hear it and learn it in a very straight, direct, specific way and not a roundabout.
Yeah, you definitely get that here, especially with Doc. I value that, that's good. But well,
Yeah.
I'll throw it out. I today hold myself to standards, and it was funny, I was listening to something I'm gonna quote. Like, a lot of people wanna do minimal work for maximum results, and the people that do maximum work still feel like they're lazy. And I identify it like that with a motherfucker, because it's like, I do a lot of shit, and I will catch myself going, man, why the fuck did you do that? Or, man, you're a lazy piece of shit. Like, not, but but it's a standard I hold myself to, and like you were mentioning before, like excellence. Am I great at everything I do? No. Pretty good at some of the things I do, but the standard I want to be at would be excellence, ideally. And anything I'm going to try to put my time into, that's what I'm shooting for, whether I hit it or not. Which you were kind of addressing, so I don't need to speak on that.
Well, yeah, I can definitely relate. Obviously, we just talked about this, but there's no way that I can hold myself to other people's standards, because it is so much lower than I expect out of myself. And like you hit it perfectly, that I may not hit it exactly at excellence, but if I'm pushing for my excellence that I see I should have, I'm going to be way higher and leagues above what other people's expectations are out of me.
True.
Why do you think that's important for like people in recovery though specifically?
I think it's because we've spent a majority of our time fucking everything off and having nobody hold us accountable for anything, no standards whatsoever. We were just kind of running life as life came at us, instead of kind of grabbing that bull by the horns and driving it where we want to go.
Reactive versus proactive kind of deal. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my thought on like why it's really important for me, I feel like you were kind of hinting at, is because I held myself to such a low fucking standard when I was getting high. Like, I feel like it's that much more important to hold myself to a much higher standard to kind of separate myself from the person I used to be. And to grow into a person I'm trying to be, I have to hold myself to a much higher standard than the average person. Kind of like what you were saying, like a lot of people, they want, to hold themselves to the lowest standard and get maximum results without doing shit for work, or, just put very low standards and expectations on themselves so they can not feel like they're failing, or you know what I mean? Not, you know what I mean?
I think Jordan Peterson said it real well at one point. He said, if you don't have a clear goal or a clear standard, you can't fail. And
Yeah, right.
Because you really
Exactly.
aren't, you can loophole your way out of why you didn't get there all day long. If you're clear about where the fuck you want to be, or how you want to be, or what you want to be, then you have to fucking either rise to it or not. But it's very clear whether you did or you didn't.
Whether you did it.
I think that fear of failure is what keeps everybody maintaining just status quo across the board. I'm doing just enough to not get noticed. Whereas if I push myself and I fail, now I'm going to feel bad about it. But see, me, I don't feel bad about failing. because I was actually out there trying to accomplish something, and I just learned a new way how not to do that. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna fucking come back, and I'm gonna try it again a different way, until I figure out the best way to accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish.
Well, because you've obviously realized that failure means growth.
Yep.
That's exactly what the fuck it is. But I think like what you're talking about, that place of mediocrity that you guys both just hinted at, I think that's a very dangerous place for addicts like us to sit. You know what I mean? Because it's a very slippery slope right back into the shit and the very low standards. You know, it's a very short distance from the mediocrity and to be, okay with and accept just average, you know what I mean? And if you hold yourself to a higher standard and aim for much higher, you're kind of separating yourself from the person you used to be. Because if you start being okay with holding yourself to, oh, I don't need, I can be a few minutes late to work, or I can take today off work, or I can skip the gym today, or I don't need to study on this today, or I don't need to read this book that I told myself I was going to read, and I don't need to do this even though I told myself I was going to. You start, you know what I mean? You start becoming not the person that you're shooting for, and more like the person that you used to be.
And that is a fucking confidence killer, I
Yeah.
think. When you fucking let yourself down, you're like setting a bad precedent for you, for one, and for two, it fucks up your self-confidence. And that's a fucking slide into shit real quick.
Yeah. I feel like it's a really slippery slope, man, and that's why for me, like, I try to make it a point. And do I, like you guys are talking about, do I achieve excellence every day? No, but I fucking shoot for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I
Well,
fucking shoot for
I
it.
think you meditated it even before the video, but man, if you shoot for excellence and you fall short, great. You're doing a whole lot better than average.
Absolutely, absolutely. But if I shoot for average, I'm just co-signing my own bullshit at this point, because we all know what it took to get to where we are today. And I'm not just talking in life, but like in sobriety. This is a big thing. Already getting to where we are now with the amount of time each of us has puts us well above average at this point. I mean, if you look at the statistics,
That's true.
It's-
That's a good point.
Right.
Good point.
truly.
Yeah, it is.
But to achieve what we have achieved now, to accept anything less than excellence from ourselves, because right now we're great. And where do you go from great? Excellence. So I'm gonna shoot for that excellence. I'm probably not gonna hit it all the time, but I'm gonna damn well try. And I'm not gonna make excuses. I'm not gonna look for that, because excuses are my safety net, right? If I start changing those behaviors and getting back into that comfort zone, then my attitude's gonna change. If my attitude changes, my actions are gonna change. My thought processes are gonna change. I'm gonna get fucked up before I get fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
because
what
you,
I'm
get
saying.
you start getting the
Slow.
fuck it's
Yeah.
when you, I mean, I don't know, that's what I call
Yeah,
it.
oh, yeah.
You start doing fuck that or fuck this or fuck it too
Mhm.
much, you're fucked.
Yeah, it's straight dive
That
right
was
back there,
scientific.
man. That's a good point that you're talking about, man. I never even honestly thought about it like that. We can aim for excellence, but holding yourself to a higher standard is how we achieve excellence. If you're holding yourself to like, okay, well, everybody else is like this, so I just want to aim to be like everybody else. Like, no, if you're an addict in recovery and you're holding yourself to a much higher, or if you're trying to shoot for excellence and you're holding yourself to a much higher standard, you're more likely to get there. You know what I mean? If you're the guy that shows up early, that stays late, that's positive, that's, doing research, that's reading, you know what I mean? That's always on top of their shit. You're separating yourself from the person you used to be, and you're separating yourself from everybody around you. And you're just giving
Well,
yourself
how many
more
times
chances.
around this community over these times that we've all been around here, have you seen people that go somewhere, don't shoot for anything beyond average, if even that, like just getting by, which is average to me, and it's not enough for me.
Right.
But those people almost always end up right back here, or they're fucking dead. You know what I mean?
I think they set that bar so low because they know they can hit that mark.
Yeah, right.
It feels good to at least hit that mark, and that's that, like we said, that comfort zone. But I also think that there are some people that are the complete opposite, right? Other side of the pendulum. They push themselves entirely too fucking hard and drive themselves back. So they don't have that even balance, right? I push myself to the limits, but I still need to take time for myself.
That's
I need
a
to
tough
relax.
topic right there.
Even going
Especially for you.
Even going to the gym.
All of us really
The
do.
gym is great mental health for me. I find that I haven't been to the gym in like 6 months until just recently.
Yeah, I know.
It's been a while since I've been to the
You
gym.
have had a lot going on in your defense, but yeah.
Yes. But now going back there, I am finding I'm able to approach a lot of other stressful situations in a clearer mindset, just because I take a little bit of extra time for myself, which is still an attempt to attain excellence.
True.
Because I'm still working on a different part of me, not just financial interests or social engagements or anything like that, but like personal inside growth, meditation, self-reflection, reading, like learning about who I am or pushing myself in a physical way that makes me feel good.
And it sets a tone. I mean, we were just discussing this on Facebook, I think the other day, but like that fucking time, like I get up at fucking 2:45, 3 in the morning, and everybody's like, you're fucking out of your mind. Maybe a little bit. But like we were talking about, that time is fucking mine.
Yeah.
The rest of the world isn't up. My phone's not ringing. I don't have 10,000 things I'm responsible for doing right yet.
Yeah.
And I can just fucking like look at a book. I can go to the gym. And then I started a day like where I'm like, my mood's better because I just went and fucking worked out, got all pumped up, released whatever the fuck endorphins I'm gonna release. And I'm like, my attitude's typically fucking better going into the rest of my day, for sure.
I mean, you said something though that I honestly never thought about in this way, is that like, you know, each of us got to where we're at by kind of setting the bar high right out of the gate, you know, and I think I definitely did not do that every other time.
I mean, it's funny though, because like setting the bar high when I left ECS 1, fucking whenever, 3.5, almost 4 years ago, I was like, I'm gonna like fucking go to work on time, not lie to people, not get high, brush my teeth, take a shower, and go to the gym.
What?
And I was like, I accomplished this, I'm doing fucking great.
But out the door, that's great because
There's a high standard out of the
high
door.
standard for us when
That's
we
true.
get sober, but
This is
as
true.
we progress, that bar has to continue to go up. As
Yes.
you level up, that bar's gotta move higher, man.
Absolutely.
Because I need to be able to jump higher.
That's what I was just gonna say, is out of the gate, like, your mind was already on setting that bar higher, even though to the average person, that might not look like a hard bar or a high bar or a high standard.
Yeah.
But for somebody like us, like, dude, we've been in prison, we've been homeless, we've been in rehabs, we've been in jail, we've been in hospitals. So setting the bar high right out of the gate might just look like, hey,
Self-care.
I'm gonna take care of myself. I'm gonna shower every day. I'm gonna show up to work on time. I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna eat 3 meals a day. I'm gonna wake up at this time of day. You know what I mean? Because I think that's just preparing you mentally to take those next steps. Once those become habits, now you can set your bar even higher.
Well, like you were saying though, once that happens, you either stagnate or you set the bar up. Like there's not much, I don't think there's any middle ground. You're either going forward or going backward. There's no fucking no movement. It's one way or the other.
Yeah, especially
What did they say?
recovery.
1% a day is still 1% better than yesterday. So as long as I'm still putting in some forward momentum,
Right.
I'm doing all right.
If you do that shit every day, think how much better you are year in, year out. You know,
Yeah.
that's seriously a huge fucking difference.
But I mean, think about how many times, I know you guys have heard it because I know I have. How many times have you heard somebody in recovery say, like, when they come back from relapse and you try to talk about what happened, it was like, oh, I felt stagnant, you know, maybe
A lot.
like I wasn't, it kind of just got like repetitive and redundant and
My
then it
advice
became
is
unhappy.
always
I
do
became
something
unmotivated.
new.
Right, and that something new could be readjusting the bar, setting it a little bit higher, like, you know.
I mean, it doesn't have to be fucking, Nobel Prize winning
Right,
shit
of
either.
course.
It doesn't
Yeah.
have to just be anything. I mean, this fucking channel started that way to some degree. I was stagnant last year. I mean, it was just me talking to a camera like a jag off, but it was just like something, like I'm like, I'm gonna add something to this because like I'm losing my mind. So I was like, fuck it. I mean, it's come a long way. It's much better now with other people in conversation and all this. But I mean, things grow. But like, it kind of failed to begin with. But like you were saying, failure is a part of success.
Yeah.
If you don't do anything, you can't fail. But you sure as shit ain't gonna succeed either. I mean, it's just like that with getting sober. Like, if you don't do anything, you're gonna stay fucked up forever. So.
I think a lot of people get really uncomfortable when it comes to that growth, right? Because sometimes growth fucking hurts.
Most of the time,
You gotta cut off friends that you've had for a lifetime. Hell, I cut off family members I no longer talk to my father because he's detrimental to my sobriety.
Right.
It creates a negative, toxic relationship. Still love the man, but I gotta love him at a distance.
Right.
You know, there's a huge growth in that because for me, I was always seeking for his adoration, the kudos, because he was like never there growing up. And so I would always do everything just to, hey, Dad, did I do well? Hey, Dad, do you like this? And then until I reached that point, which was a huge turning point for me with growth on a personal level, I wasn't gonna get any further. And that shit hurt. Like I wanted to be able to have that relationship with that person. But I knew, like truthfully, knew deep down inside that if I wanted to continue growing and stay sober and continue on the path that I'm on, I couldn't do that shit
I
anymore.
remember having this conversation with you when you were kind of turning that corner, I think,
Uh-huh.
and I don't remember
Yeah.
where the fuck we were or anything
I
like
think
that.
we were at one.
I think we might. I think you're right.
Yeah.
I remember this, and yeah, it sure seems to have done you well.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
To have learned that, man, growth can be uncomfortable, but I mean, this standard that we're setting, kind of like what you just said, it's for ourselves, man. It's not for the, hey, look at me, I'm doing great, you know what I mean? Or hey, do you see me doing great? You're setting a standard for yourself because you want better for yourself. You know what I mean? Not because you want to be better than anybody else, not because you want anybody else to fucking take notice. You're setting a higher standard for yourself because you want better for yourself and you want to grow into the person that you know you can be.
I think that
That's why I
trap.
think in recovery.
I talked about in the group we did, and
Oh, yeah.
that trap, like, and I have come close, like, and it was a situation at work, like, and I see people like showing up a little late or taking a day off or not getting after it, and then I was starting to like, oh, maybe I could, and then I was like, well, fuck no, it's not about them, it's about
Yeah.
what I fucking know is right for me, and I had to pick that shit up, but it's kind of easy to fall into a trap of like, well, these guys are doing it, fuck it, I'll do it.
It is, because we're surrounded with media everywhere we go. Like all the podcasts that I think all of us pretty much listen to point that out all the time.
Mhm.
Everybody's comfortable and okay.
I mean,
with
just
the
look
other
around
person.
when you're out in the world,
Yeah,
man,
and
it's not
that's-
hard to see.
And that's fine for everybody else, but you know what? One thing I know for goddamn sure is us as addicts and alcoholics, we're fucking different.
Yeah.
We're different than people. Maybe not any better or worse, but we're different and we're wired different. So I think that means that at least for me, it means I need different. I need to have different expectations, higher expectations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I need to do things a little bit differently than most people do. Some people might look at me like they think I think I'm better than them, or like what's that guy's deal? Like he's always 15 minutes early, and he's always staying 15 minutes late, and he's always
Those people are on my fuck those people.
yeah, you know what I mean? Maybe they are talking, maybe they're not. I don't know, and I don't care. I'm doing this for me, like I said,
Right.
not for anybody else. And I'm trying to grow, like you talk about. I know it's uncomfortable sometimes, and there's a lot of failures that come with it because I'm hard on myself, and I think you guys are just like me in that aspect. We're our own toughest critics, like you said.
Nobody's gonna come down on me harder than
Yeah.
you.
Right.
I see what you do in your
But
schedule.
nobody's
and
gonna
to
build
even
you
hear
up
you
better
say,
than you do either. Like,
True.
nobody is gonna pump you up more than yourself. man.
True.
yeah. And well, I think we've all gotten to the point where like we don't need anybody else to build ourselves up.
Of course, but at the beginning of sobriety, we almost sought that out.
Oh,
for
yeah,
other
of
people.
Oh, for
Yeah.
fucking
It felt
sure.
good to get those
Yes.
positive affirmations,
Absolutely.
those kudos, and a fucking boy. But like,
I think a
no.
little after a year in, I started to see the light on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, a good solid year, I was like, I did all, like I said, when
I
I
did
did
all that.
this, I
You're
did
doing a
this,
good
nobody's
job.
I did.
like, now I just fucking
Good.
I do my thing, and like I know I'm doing a good job because of how my life's going.
Yeah.
Right, and you can actually see the fruits of your labor. And
Right. That's
fuck
enough.
it. I did that. I don't need to hear it from anybody. If I hear it, great, cool. That's just
Yeah.
a cherry on top. But what's really the meat and potatoes for me is me building me up in this situation.
And when you start to hold yourself to a higher standard and people give you compliments on shit that you don't really like you all the time, I know, or something like, oh man, you're killing it, you're doing this, you're like, I didn't do shit, like I haven't even done shit yet, I'm just getting started, like, and I feel like that too, when you set a higher standard for yourself and people notice small shit that you feel like isn't shit, you're just like, yeah, well thanks, but
I'm not great at giving credit
Yeah.
to myself for that.
Or accept.
But there's times when I can sit back and like, and it's rare where I just like, I can't sit back and be like, I have done a lot. We all have done a lot. I mean, that's something I can confidently fucking say.
Well, dude,
from where we all
the first day I
started.
met you until now, there's been so much growth, and same with you. To be fair, I thought you were gonna be dead by now,
I think a lot of people probably thought that.
but I'm glad
For a
you're
while,
not.
yeah, same here.
I'm glad you're not, man. because you are a positive influence on a lot of people's lives. And that's something I think you should give yourself credit for. You as well, and you help a lot of people.
I still really never did and never do, but like after group today, like with every one of them guys. like,
Everybody
coming
gave
up to
me a
us
fucking
and
hug, and I was like,
hugging me
holy
and telling me
shit,
how
I felt like Mike Fisher.
Yeah, right.
Sorry,
not,
Mike.
that's not a knock.
That's
on
not
you,
a
Mike.
knock at all. It was great,
We
but
love
like,
you,
dude,
Mike.
I don't know how many like groups were 16 guys like wanted to come and give me a hug. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
It was a little weird,
That's
but
cool.
it was like
yeah, it was a little weird.
I was like, well, damn, and like to listen to him be like, dude, like we look forward to your group every week, like we get something out of it every time. It actually made me kind of realize, like, damn, like I guess we are fucking
Yeah.
helping. You know what I mean?
I lose track of that sometimes, as
Yeah.
you well know. I mean, what, like 4 or 5 months ago, I was like, I think I'm just gonna quit all this
Yeah.
shit. I'm not making any difference. This
And I
stuff
was
is
like,
what am I
no,
doing?
fucking man.
It's pretty easy to start trying to convince yourself of fucked up shit.
Yeah. Of course.
But I think that's the standard, like, it goes back to the standard we hold ourselves to, man. Like, we hold ourselves to such a high standard that we don't even realize, like, the good we're doing and the shit that we've achieved and accomplished.
And that keeps you driven, though.
Yeah, keeps you humble, too.
Blissfully
Fucking humble.
dissatisfied.
Blissful dissatisfied. I was actually thinking about that in my life fucking slogan the other day. Blissful dissatisfaction. You know what I mean?
I think we've been
not
pushing
satisfied.
ourselves so hard today because we don't recognize the growth we've had from the beginning, right? 'Cause
For
we
sure.
we are with ourselves every single day of the week.
Yeah.
So we don't notice the leaps we have. We are able to sit in the mirror and pick out this other thing. Oh shit, I gotta work on this. And some people you haven't seen in years that come to, oh my God, man, what you're doing so much better with your life. And no, I'm not. Like,
I have no
this
shit.
is fucked up. This is fucked up. And like,
But
then I look back at it and I say, wow, where I was 2 3/4 of a year ago until now, fuck yeah, dude, I'm doing
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
As long as I keep pushing myself a little more every single day, I think, I think everything's gonna work out.
Wow.
That's why I do like going back to like the treatment center and doing this shit, because it does kind of make me think of like when I was sitting there the first time with you, the second time in your groups, and the third time in your groups. You know what I mean? It makes me think of like, damn, like a lot has changed since then. But it does a lot of times take somebody else to point out to see like actually like what I've done in that time and how much has changed and how much I've changed. So
That's because,
it's good to have those kind of
like, to bring it all back, this is, you fucking had high standards, you didn't accept bullshit.
Right. And another reason that you brought up is we are our toughest critics.
Oh, yeah.
So we're gonna look at ourselves in the mirror, we're gonna pick that shit apart.
Yeah.
Because we see that standard that we feel deep down inside that we can achieve. If only I could fix this part and this part, but like I'm working on fixing this part, but ignoring these other things. When I have to be working on all of these other things plus this, just adding one more thing.
Well, I found one of my biggest fucking challenges is like I get some shit right and then a couple things fall off, or I get those things right. Like putting it all fucking together at once.
Yeah.
When that shit's going on, I actually feel like I'm getting somewhere.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like it lasted for 75 days. but like honestly, I don't know, man. I still haven't found that magic formula to like make everything go that like relentlessly right way. Fuck it all
there
the
isn't
time.
one, bro.
I'm sure there's not, but like I wish I knew.
But the fact that we're aware of it though.
Yeah, but I mean, if we're not holding ourselves to that higher standard and picking ourselves apart like you're talking about, like I know you do and I know I do, I fucking am so like, I'm like, dude, you're a fucking bum, like you're fucking lazy, you didn't do this, you should have done this. Like, even though I sleep like 4 to 6 hours a night, you know what I mean? I'm like, but if I'm not holding myself to a higher standard, what's gonna push me to do better? What's gonna push me to become a better person? And a
Nobody
better
else
person
is.
myself?
Yeah, nobody.
No, I'm just gonna sit around and I'm eventually gonna be unhappy. And to me, that goes back to that slippery slope. Because if I sit around and I'm stagnant, I'm not pushing myself to be better, I'm gonna get complacent, I'm gonna become unhappy, I'm gonna become unmotivated and undriven. And then what do you think is gonna happen eventually?
Irritable, discontent, all kinds of
Right.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think is gonna happen? I'm gonna
Fall
fucking
off.
backslide right back to where the fuck I came from.
Yeah, and then
So
that
I think
also
that's why
falls
it's
back to
important.
society accepting status quo as the new norm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for addicts, that's so dangerous. You know what
It
I mean?
is.
Like, because we're just that become complacent, and if you're, I don't know if you guys are like me, I think you kind of are. Then you become like undriven, unmotivated, unhappy.
Without a doubt.
Then you just your mood is shitty, you're negative.
And then
Before
you're
you
like,
know
oh,
it,
what's
you're
the
like,
point
oh,
of any
what's
of this
the point?
shit?
Yeah, right. What's the point of any of this? I'm gonna be miserable. I might as well be miserable, higher drunk, and then next thing you know, you're fucking either dead or back in treatment or jail. And So I think that's kind of sums up the point of this video of why it's important, man, to hold yourself to that higher standard, because it's gonna push you to become a better version of yourself and to do better for yourself.
And with the other part of that, is something we say at every video, paying it forward. If you're holding yourself to some excellent shit, you show other people it can be done.
Yeah, lead by example.
Yeah, and not that anybody's gonna follow necessarily, very few, but fucking,
A couple
if you
will.
show
A
anybody
couple will.
that like, I'm just a fucking idiot doing this shit. I say that all the time, like, I'm an idiot. I am.
I mean, leave suggestions in the comments too. Like
Yeah.
how other people have shown you, or how you have
Yeah.
shown other people how, you know, to hold yourself to a higher standard.
Yeah.
Because some people don't even recognize that that's holding yourself to that area.
It's true.
You know, like we said, we ignore certain things because we want to hyper focus on these other areas. Like,
Yeah.
shit,
It is
there's
a
so
very
much
good
more
point.
out there.
We always like to do that, so maybe in the comments, if you guys wanna let us know how you hold yourself to a higher standard, or something that, you know, any questions, any comments regarding any of this stuff, man, we love the interaction and the feedback, as always. You know, if you like it, if you got something from the video, share it, comment, subscribe. You know.
Yeah, let us know, even if it's fucking criticism, I'll be happy to read it.
Yeah.
And I'd be happy to debate anything or comment back and forth with people,
Debate it.
man. Like, I enjoy conversation with
Look, maybe you know me and you know an area where I don't hold myself to a high standard, I can improve on it, go ahead, let me know, I'll work on it, I promise.
Yeah, I'm pretty open
That's
to taking,
Yeah.
I'm pretty open to taking shit from
I
like
can
that
take
now,
shit,
because
yeah.
typically,
Yeah.
a lot of times there's something to it, and I would notice one thing, if I get pissed, there's definitely something to
Probably
it.
true.
Well, look, we might get pissed, but we'll sit back and we'll think about it, and we'll probably be like, yeah, he's kinda right.
I need to work on it.
More often than not, I don't know how many times it's happened with Doc, where he says something, I'm like, fuck you, and then like, I'm like, oh shit, yeah, alright, he's right, he's 100% right.
Now I gotta call and apologize.
Well, anymore, I don't react like right away. Like the last time I sent him this big long message, and his response was, "Nobody cares, work harder." I was like, "Fuck you" in my house, and then like 10 seconds passed by, and I was starting. I'm like, you know what? He's fucking right. Fuck it. Like, fuck. That's exactly what I needed to hear.
Yeah, that's true. No.
That's something I have improved on though, because back in the day when I first met both of you, I was like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I can vouch for that.
See, I can get behind that. I gravitated towards that because I was in that fuck you attitude. Now I'm more like, fuck you.
Yeah.
It isn't as aggressive.
Yeah, it's-
but it's still direct. Like, fuck you, but in a good way.
Yeah. Right.
I think I've got to the point where I'm just like, fuck it, alright, he's right.
Fair.
Yeah, I have definitely found that, man. Like,
Especially
criticism when
when
it's true,
Yeah.
or even has a shred of truth. Your like reactions, like "go fuck yourself," and you're like, "Well, there's a reason that angered me." 'Cause
Yeah.
if it was completely untrue, I would just laugh.
I don't know, I think at this point for me, I've had so many of those moments with Doc that as soon as I hear something that, and my initial thought is like, fuck him, I'm like, damn it.
That's pretty legit.
Yeah.
Accurate, okay, he's right.
Well, everybody, you know, we thank you for watching. As we always say, pay it forward to the next person, man. Help some
Yeah.
people out, even if it's just by being a good example of high standards.
Thanks for having me out tonight.
Johnny, thank you for
Thank
joining
you
us.
for joining us, man. I had a blast.
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
we can do this again, that'd
Do
be
it again
great.
sometime.
Of course.
We have some other guests lined up, but we definitely love to have you back.
Mr. Byron coming next week because
Okay.
he requested that he would like to join us. So I'm trying to get different faces in here. But yeah, like you and Brooke, we definitely would love to have back for sure.
I'm in.
Awesome, cool.
All right,
We'll
brother.
do this
Maybe
again.
do a twosome. We can bring us both in.
That would be cool. I'm down with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll line that
I'm
up.
just suggesting.
No, man, I'm all for that. Like, it's
Yeah.
great having more debate and more conversations. Great, and I enjoy it. Like, this
Yeah.
is fun for me. So, you know, if
Absolutely.
anybody else gets something for it, great. That's awesome, and that's the
Yeah.
point. But man, I enjoy this shit. So,
So thank you guys, anybody who watched or listened, and we'll see you next week.
take care.